or rather bifurcated in the entire scenario. Now, when we are talking about the sewage treatment sector, we have the government sector, which encompasses the urban community levels STBs, right? I mean, when we are talking about urban community level STBs, we are talking about the government colleges, government hostels, government hospitals, and so on, and the large scale STBs as well, which we are talking about the community level STBs. When we talk about the rural STP systems of the government, we are talking about the systems which are meant for catering to the village segment and the, you can say, townships. When we talk about the private segment is mainly encompassing all the parameters like industries, commercial establishments, residential establishments, hotels, hospitals, and many other segments. Now, why I describe this is basically because of a simple scenario. When we talk about the STP streams, that is a bifurcation of the sewage in general, we are talking about the grey water and the black water, which forms the sewage segment. And septage is nothing but the sludge which is left behind from the septic tanks and the organic constituents from the septic tank. This is the very simple, realistic bifurcation of the streams. Now, this bifurcation may differ from the bifurcations which are given by different textbooks or different experts. Now, this bifurcation is based on my own experience. Before I go any ahead, I would like to suggest that if you have any questions, there is a conversations tab on the, you can say, menu below the slides, wherein you can post your questions if you have any at any point of time in the slides. Ms. Tejas will be handling the questions and she will be taking them at the end. Now, when we the constitution of sewage, we are looking at sewage generation in the following context. Practically, when we talk about the entire sewage section, we are talking about approximately 98% to 99% of the content in the form of water, and hardly 1 to 2% of that entire quantum comes in as solids. When we talk about the sewage water contents, the secondary, you can say, secondary demarcation is in the form of gray water and black water, which I had discussed earlier. The third context of distinguishing the entire thing in a common manner is that when we talk about the sewage as a whole, gray water forms a majority portion of the volume, black water comes in next, and hardly any amount comes in as a septage. But as we know, septage is always the most problematic sector, which is still being, you can say, studied or still being in the form of an understanding, wherein septage management comes in as a question. When we are designing a treatment for sewage, the sewage treatment on the line similar to the bifurcation of the sewage treatment sector, this has to be again considered when you are designing a sewage treatment plant. The sewage treatment is already bifurcated into urban community level STPs, rural STPs, and so on. But again, on the same lines, the parameters which are provided by each of these segments are significantly variable from one another, because of which each of these sewage treatment plants need to be designed as a single system. A common thumb rule cannot be applied to any of these scenarios. Now, if we go by the baseline parameters, these can be obtained by studying any of the websites and any of the books that we have. Normally, when we talk about that, we are talking about the BOD. Now, BOD stands for biological oxygen demand. There is a confusion in this, you can say, segment, wherein many times it is called as biochemical oxygen demand, many times it is called as biological oxygen demand. The main aim of assessing this, you can say, parameter to analyze the amount of oxygen which is required by the microorganisms in order to degrade the matter in a biological manner. That's a simple case scenario. COD stands for chemical oxygen demand. So when we talk about black water, the black water comes in with a BOD of around 250 to 300, while the COD of the same black water comes in at 500 to 600. Grey water has a pH which is on a bit alkaline side, obviously because of the higher amount of detergents and you can say carbonates and bicarbonates. The BOD of this system is very, you can say, low. It is in the range of 80 to 100, and the COD is in the range of 150 to 200. Now, if we combine the black water and grey water as a common wastewater stream, which is being practiced in many of the, you can say, parts of the country, the unseparated wastewater on average has a BOD of around 150 to 200 and a COD of around 300 to 400. Now, please understand that all of these are parameters which are a standard parameter. These are not based on any type of, you can say, source. When the source changes, these parameters again change. So you need to just take these parameters as a baseline when we are talking about the parameter constituent of sewage. When we talk about septage, again, septage also varies depending on the type of source. If the septage source is public urinals and latrines, the BOD level and the COD level can shoot off like anything. But when we talk about the septage concentration or septage parameter concentration for any of the different, you can say, streams which are coming from the sewage septic tanks of households, commercial complexes, and hotels, the BOD of these septage, you can say, streams comes to somewhere in the range of 6,000 to 8,000. The COD comes in the range of 10,000 to 14,000. So when we talk about, just kindly hold on for 1 second. So sorry, let me continue from here. So when we talk about septage, the parameters are extremely high. But again, as I said, the amount of septage which comes in is very, very low. Because of this, whenever we are designing a plant, it is always advisable that the septage or the solids content or the fecal sludge should be separated from the, you can say, mainstream in order to ensure that the entire portion of wastewater which is coming to the sewage treatment plant is devoid of the fecal sludge, which helps in the proper treatment of the wastewater. When we talk about the norms of pollution control board, the standard norms which are given by the pollution control board for the sewage treatment plant output disposal. Now I'm talking about outlet. When we talk about the outlet, we are talking about the pH in the range of 6.5 to 8.5. We are talking about the BOD for metro cities in the range of 20. For the rest of India, we are talking about the parameter range in the 30s. When we talk about COD, we are talking about the output parameter as 250. Now this is for disposal on land for irrigation. When we are talking about the disposal in a nearby water body, we have to understand that the parameters need to be much more stringent. Because of this, when we talk about the PCB norms for discharge in water bodies, we are talking about BOD less than 10, COD less than 30. Again, let me come back on this. When we talk about the treatment alternatives which are presently available, when we look at sewage, we have treatments like SBR, MBR, MBBR, AOP, ASP, and RO. I'll just give the brief, you can say, long form of it, but we are going to be discussing this in detail when we go ahead. SBR stands for sequential batch reactor or sequencing batch reactor. MBR stands for membrane bioreactor. MBBR stands for moving bed bioreactor. AOP stands for advanced oxidation process. ASP stands for activated sludge process. RO stands for reverse osmosis. So when we talk about septage, the treatment systems which are available for septage are solid thickening, drying, incineration, and digestion. There are a lot more for which probably inputs may be welcome from your end as well. But fundamentally, when we speak about septage management, we do not have an ideal effective treatment for the same. And this is a very, you can say, scary scenario. Yes, there are treatment systems which are being followed everywhere. Some systems are working very nicely. Some systems have certain amount of dangers which are coming in. But effectivity wise, it's having a certain amount of issues. Now, we go to the primary designing requirements. The designing requirements, as you can see on your slide, they are the following. The first thing is source of wastewater. Now, this is very, very crucial, as I had already described, that when the source changes, the parameters of the wastewater change as well. So that has to be considered first. Secondly, the number of users. How many people are going to be considered when we are utilizing this design for formulation of a final proposal or volume which is going to be treated by the sewage treatment plant. Third, what are the options available for disposal or reuse? Though this is on the third point, but this is also a very crucial point, because depending on the option of disposal or reuse, the entire treatment system can be designed in a proper manner, or the design may cause a havoc. So if we have a disposal for gardening, that's fair enough. But many a times, which I have come across, and during my designing experience, there are a lot of people who require a treatment system which is to be installed in their basement, but they do not have even a single square meter of area gardening. So in such kinds of scenarios, it is extremely difficult when we design the system. Obviously, the system has to be designed in order to ensure that the parameters which are being, you can say, met by this type of a treatment system are at least suitable for disposal in the nearby sewers. The next question when we come to reuse or disposal is that even in these kind of scenarios, a problem happens that there is no drainage system nearby. There is no gardening system nearby. In such case scenarios, the most difficult type of design has to be done, wherein we may have to utilize the entire portion of the water for our in-house purpose, or we have to use a tanker or any other mode wherein we can at least send the water for disposal. This type of a scenario was used in one of our projects in Vizhinjam, which is in Kerala, wherein the entire wastewater was reused in civil engineering or construction, and wherein we had installed a tanker there on a permanent basis, wherein the entire wastewater was being taken away every day. Next point, when we are talking about primary designing, is the total wastewater generation per day at the rate of 100 liters per capita per day. LPCD stands for liters per capita per day. Now, when we talk about wastewater generation, the IS 10500 or any standard which is present in the Indian BIS, it shows that 135 liters per capita per day is the water consumption. 80% of it approximately comes in as the wastewater. But in order to facilitate the proper designing of a system, wastewater generation per capita, that is every individual per day, should be taken as 100 liters. Next is the available land area. As you can say explained in the point number 3 about disposal and reuse, land area availability is important not just from the disposal perspective but from the construction perspective as well. Because whenever we are talking about a sewage treatment plant, it is a given that sewage treatment plant is always at the lowermost point or the most unused portion of the land. बात करते हैं किसी अपार्टमेंट कॉम्प्लेक्स की या किसी ऐसे कॉम्प्लेक्स जो बहुत ही क्रंच लाइन एरिया में है, तो वहां पर हमें मिलने वाली जगह बहुत कम हो सकती है. So in such kinds of scenarios wherein the land area available is absolutely very low, we have to ensure that the trees are designed in order to facilitate proper operations without hampering the comfort zone of the client. This is very, you can say, challenging. But at the end of the day, when we come across as a designer of the system, we have to ensure that these people are taken care of at such points. The last, you can say, point in primary designing in this slide is the type of system required. Obviously, this has to be, you can say, arrived at the end of this chapter or this seminar. But yes, this is also one of the requirements when we are designing, because many times people have a notion that they require a specific treatment systems. For example, when we are talking about projects for the Indian Railways normally prefers MBBR, that is moving bed bioreactor, as a system for installation of sewage treatment plants. When we go in the context of, say, systems, especially in Bangalore is more inclined towards SBR systems, that is sequencing batch reactors. Mr. Anant Kodwasal, who is a very reputed person in the sewage treatment and wastewater treatment sector, 2 days back he had given a seminar wherein Bangalore was more inclined towards SBR, that is sequencing batch reactor, and Pune and areas in its periphery were more inclined towards MBBR. So that was the notion that he had put in. Before going ahead, I have prepared an example of the design for a proper system. In this scenario, let's take the example as an apartment complex wherein we have 50 number of flats. Each flat has 5 number of residents. So we have 250 residents who are, to be considered when designing. So taking 100 liters per capita per day as the wastewater generation, the total amount of wastewater which is going to be coming in the plant is going to be 25,000 liters. But we need to have a certain amount of safety margin. So the total design volume at the rate of 50% of safety margin comes into around 29 KLD. This is the wastewater generation which we normally prefer for designing. Obviously, these values may differ from the standard values, may differ from the values which are given by separate organizations. But at the end of the day, keeping our experience in mind, we have tried to summarize what are the different types of volumes which are obtained by the different types of sources. So, for example, when we talk about an hotel of 3-star level, 150 liters per capita per day is the wastewater volume which is generated. Normally, the wastewater volume is 100 LPCD. But when we go to a 5-star hotel, we have to consider a wastewater generation volume of around 200 LPCD. Now, in any hotel, when we are considering a room, we have to take 2 residents as the maximum. This type of a design may be called as a conservative design, but at the end of the day, when we consider the maximum amount of flow which is going to be received by the sewage treatment plant, this volume has to be considered. When we talk about installation of a sewage treatment plant for a hostel, again, for a hostel with canteen, the amount of wastewater generated is different than for a wastewater generation stream for a hostel without a canteen. Similarly, for a hospital, when we take a hospital design, Without laundry facility, the amount of wastewater generated is 250 LPCD. Hospital with laundry facilities will have a volume generation of 400 LPCD. This presentation will be available online, as well as we will be giving the presentation to anybody who wants it. Obviously, we have my email ID, which is going to be shown at the end of the slide. So anybody who wants this presentation for their reference, please make sure that drop in a mail to me and I'll be sending the presentation to you. Now, whenever we are designing the system, please remember the following points. Parameters change as per source, even if we see the source to source variations. Now, even though I have said in the earlier slides that even if the land is not available, there is a kind of a problem which happens when we are talking about the designing of a system. So please do not panic in such kinds of situations. An STP can even be set up on a terrace. It can be a syntax tank based system also. So it's not a concern in any way that if you require a sewage treatment plant and if you do not have sufficient amount of land, there can be a way out. The only thing is that in such kinds of scenarios, the designers such as us, we have to ensure that we take all the problems which are posed by the client and understanding them, design a system which is suitable for their day-to-day operations without causing a certain, huge amount of problem to them. End use is absolutely vital. This is to be understood very, very clearly. I have been talking about this from the start. Before deciding the end use, designing a system is very wrong, because end use itself defines the intricacy or the complexity of a system. Sewage water can definitely be treated up to drinking water quality standards. Obviously, this is a very, very possible scenario. Right now, when we are talking about the options which are available for sewer or wastewater, treated wastewater disposal, they are coming in the form of sewer disposal, gardening, flushing, floor washing, car washing, bathing. We in India, at the least, we are yet to come to a line wherein we can use that water for drinking purpose. Obviously, though it can be treated to drinking water quality, it's very, very difficult to find the mindset in India wherein people as a whole, I'm not talking as a, you can say, specific community, of engineers, because we are engineers. Yes, it's possible that we may be able to accept it as the water which is suitable for drinking. But as a community, it becomes difficult to visualize and, make the people understand that, yes, this water is good for drinking. So that's why we have limited the options in the present scenario for bathing purpose. This is the standard treatment flow, which when we are talking about the sewage treatment comes in. The primary treatment of any type of a sewage comes in screening, oil and grease trap, and neutralization. When we go into the secondary, you can say, treatment systems, we are talking about anoxic or anaerobic treatment. Aeration systems, as I described earlier, SBR, MBR, MBBR, rotating biological contactors, which was, you can say, it's a more conventional method. It's still being used, but the use has reduced. And AOP, advanced oxidation process. This is one of the newer systems which I'll be discussing later on. When we are talking about disinfection, ozonation and chlorination are the mainly utilized disinfection measures right now. Tertiary filtration in the form of sand filters, latest being the glass filters, activated filter, and advanced tertiary in the form of ultrafiltration and reverse osmosis. Now let's take a step-by-step look. I'm taking a bit of time in these presentations because of presentation slides, because we need to understand what exactly the treatments are, because unless and until you understand those, the application of these treatments doesn't make sense. So when we are talking about primary treatment, any and every apartment complex which is present has its own septic tank. This is a given for it. Since we are coming from IPA as well as outside IPA, we all as engineers and technocrats, we already know that septic tank is always present when we are talking about apartment complexes. Rather, when we are talking about hotels and hospitals, even there, more or less times, septic tanks are always present. Now, since we are talking about micro and mini levels of STPs, micro being the STPs in the range of 5 KLD to around 250 to 300 KLD, and mini STPs in the range of 300 KLDs to around 1 MLD. Up to 500 KLD, septic tank, if it is properly technically designed, primary treatment can be completely eliminated. There is no need of a primary treatment if a septic tank of proper design is present. But for larger plants, screening and oil and grease uh, should be present. Now there is a newer mechanism wherein mechanized screening systems are available, wherein oil and grease and suspended solids removal. Suspended solids, I am talking about the larger ones. Now, when we are talking about sewage treatment, we are talking about receiving solids in the form of fecal sludge, food matter. Right from these, when we go to the hotels, we are talking about sanitary napkins, condoms, uh, towels, cloths, and anything else. So it's a kind of a scenario wherein you can't say what exactly you are going to get. So in all the times, if there is a proper septic tank or a collection tank, compartmentalized collection tank present, primary treatment can be omitted. But if it is a specific source based requirement, oil and grease and screening traps can be provided. In case of cost constraints, I mean, these are cost constraints are always present. That's a scenario which you cannot deny at any point of time. But when we are talking about, sorry, just a second. Yeah. When we are talking about a system which is, uh, present in this kind of a scenario, somebody has taken control. Hello. I think somebody is trying to play the presentation. Please avoid that because I am already looking at it. Okay, sorry. So normally what happens is that when we are talking about cost constraints, we are talking about systems which are in stainless steel. These may be replaced by standard gravity-based oil and grease traps, which can be available. Just I think there is something wrong. Just a second, hold on. Yeah. Tejas, is the screen for the PPT is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. There was a problem where somebody was trying to uh, take control. Was it you?
Uh, might be, but I just log out and then again I log in, so the problem is over.
Yeah, sure. No, it's okay. No issue. All right. So, in primary treatment, when we are talking about the normal stainless steel based mechanized oil and grease traps can be uh, replaced with the standard gravity based oil and grease systems as well. So that is not an issue when the cost constraints, you can say, don't permit you to go for a higher end treatment. The secondary treatment which we come in when we are talking about in STP, we are talking about anoxic treatment systems, or anaerobic treatment systems. Now, these treatments are actually very difficult to handle, and because of that, many options, anaerobic treatment systems are completely eliminated from sewage treatment plant designs. But many scenarios, it is crucial to understand that when we are talking about anaerobic treatment systems, we are talking about a very robust type of a system which can handle shock loads extremely efficiently. So, having the anaerobic treatment system, you can say, as an alternative, becomes a more ideal solution for making sure that the treatment system without any hitch continues for a long period of time. Uh, when we are talking about the nitrification denitrification cycles, anaerobic treatment systems always plays a very important role. Denitrification normally occurs in the anaerobic or anoxic zone of a system. When we talk about a sewage treatment plant, septic tank itself is a very, you can say, basic type of a treatment system. But in order to achieve proper denitrification at any point of time, we require an additional anaerobic treatment system in order to ensure that the total nitrification and denitrification cycle is completed, especially for the removal of ammoniacal nitrogen. This was a case scenario where I can share an example with you. We had some treatment systems which were designed by many specialized people for a very big agency. I'll not be taking the name of the agency or the designer, but at the same time, the main problem that they found was that there was a heavy amount of destabilization of the treatment system. When we analyzed the system, we found that the range of variation of chemical oxygen demand in the system was right from 200 ppm to 1200 ppm. 200 से लेके 1200 ppm तक COD में वेरिएशन एक दिन में हो रहा था. In such type of a variation, tank cannot stand, sturdy. It destabilizes very easily. Now, talk about such kind of an issue. Anaerobic system always ensures that shock loading is done by the anaerobic portion. Hold on. Okay. So when we talk about the anaerobic system, we are talking about reduction in area as well as energy perspective. The types of anaerobic systems which are utilized in this type of a system are anaerobic filter, DVAX, baffled anaerobic reactor, and CSTR, which is called as completely stirred type reactor. Uh, these are the aeration systems which we are talking about. Now, when we talk about the aeration systems, we have a lot of just a second. Somebody is not mute. Yeah, sorry. When we talk about the aeration systems, let's talk about SBR. Sequencing batch reactor, it stands for batch based treatment of the system. Now, before we go ahead, I have to clarify that many of the treatment seminars which I have attended, they are providing a general amount of information about what exactly is an SBR or an MBR or MBBR, but nobody gives a proper idea about whether the SBR is installed after fecal separation or before fecal separation. This causes a lot of confusion. So in my design, I'll be very clear that when we are talking about an SBR system, we are talking about a system which does not require fecal sludge separation. So SBR normally it has a certain amount of processes, wherein in a single tank we have a fill cycle, a react cycle wherein in reaction the aeration is done, settle cycle wherein the aeration is stopped and the solids are allowed to settle, decant cycle wherein the total solids which are settled down, portion of it is removed and the total supernatant is removed from the system, idle wherein the remaining sludge is activated and it is wasted as well. When we talk about an SPR, the sequential batch reactor has a certain amount of advantages and disadvantages. This is the same which has been done for all of the systems, so you can easily take part in that. When we talk about the advantages of a sequential batch reactor, it is a single tank system, optimized energy consumption. Now, I say optimized energy consumption because of a simple fact that aeration is done for a specific amount of time only. Since this is a batch based process, in the batch certain amount of time requires aeration. For other portions aeration is completely stopped, so the amount of energy required in comparison to conventional treatment plant is very competitive. The efficiency of treatment is very good and the end parameters are achieved. Yes, sequential batch reactor does that. The disadvantage of a system are that the system is quite complicated, and when we try to maintain it in a semi-auto or a manual mode, it causes a lot of disruptions, which we have actually observed at one of our clients. We are already in the process of changing that system from a SBR system to a completely new type of a system, which is in the form of aerobic extended aeration process. Troubleshooting in an auto mode is also very complex. Now, SBR normally comes in a manual mode or a auto mode. There is no semi-automatic mode in that. So when the system comes in an auto mode, if we want to change certain amount of parameters based on the type of source and volume received in the source, it is very difficult. Sludge management obviously is a problem, because when you are talking about an SBR, you have to have a process which is suitable for handling the sludge which is present in the system. When it is not effectively designed, it obviously is a very big havoc. And I can tell you from personal experiences that yes, this can cause a severe problem, not only for the client, but for the person who is going to be upgrading the system as well. That's why normally when we talk about SBR systems, we as a company recommend SBR systems for a capacity above 200 KLD. Rather, I would suggest when we are going for SBR systems, it is better that we have a treatment capacity above 1000 KLD, since it not only helps you in the form of capex, but in the form of operating expenditure as well. Going to the next one. Moving bed bioreactor, MBBR, this is a very common and a popular option in Indian Railways as well as in many of the systems which are designed in and around Maharashtra. Moving bed bioreactor is based on a treatment system design wherein an aeration tank is converted into a floating film media based system. You can see these are the media blocks which are used. These are the different types of media blocks which are used. These are all based on surface area calculations. MBBR system always relies on surface area calculations, and because of that, the designing of this type of a system is very crucial. I'll give you some simple points which you can understand the MBBR system in. As you can see the aeration tank here. The aeration tank
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, who is there? Sagar sir?
नहीं आवाज नहीं आ रहा है सागर सर का.
आप कौन?
मैं मदन बोल रहा हूँ.
Okay. Let me go through it. So can you please unmute your mic?
Hello. Tejas, am I audible?
Yeah, now, sir. Yeah.
Sorry, there was.
Yeah, due to the weather conditions, so many people are not able to connect to this video.
Right.
Yeah.
No issue.
Madan
So,
sir, can you hear Sagar sir? Madan sir?
Yes, I can hear.
Yeah,
All right,
okay.
all right.
Go for it, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. So, of the media, in the volume of the media varies significantly. There are certain manufacturers who give a surface area of around 20,000 meters square per cubic meter. There are certain people who give a surface area of around 300 to 400 meters square per cubic meter. But both of them give you the minimum quantity of media filling as 20 to 30%. Now, this is very, very crucial when we are trying to understand the designing of an MBBR system. There are certain manufacturers, international manufacturers, who give a media filling ratio of 8%. Now, this is significant. But the cost of that media itself is in the range of around 60 to 70,000 rupees per meter cube. So, हम जब बात करते हैं कि कैसे हम हमारी सिस्टम को कॉस्ट इकोनॉमिक बनाएं, तो वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट एमबीबीआर सिस्टम बनाते वक्त हमें सरफेस एरिया के डिजाइन पे भी उतना ही ध्यान देना है जितना ध्यान हम मीडिया की कॉस्टिंग पे देते हैं. अगर मीडिया की कॉस्ट ज्यादा है लेकिन उसकी लगने वाली वॉल्यूम अगर कम है, तो हम उसका अगर हम कॉस्ट इकोनॉमिक्स देखें तो 300 से 400 मीटर स्क्वायर पर क्यूबिक मीटर क्वांटिटी देने वाले सप्लायर से भी हम इस मामले में कॉम्पीट कर सकते हैं, provided that the aeration system is properly designed. When we talk about, surface area of this kind of a system, we have media which is made from PE, that is polyethylene. Sometimes the media is also made from PP. Sometimes the media is also made from PVC, sorry. And there is a separate range itself wherein the media is manufactured from recycled material. Now, I, as a designer, normally prefer recycled PP as the material because it is much more cheaper and it is much more easier for me to give a properly designed and cost economic system to my client. When we talk about the MBBR system and its advantages and disadvantages, we are talking about reduced aeration tank footprint. Now, this is very, very crucial. When we talk about conventional aeration tank, the amount of area which is required for an aeration tank is very high. By utilizing MBBR media, this footprint can be reduced by at least 30%. When we are talking about aeration tank, as a standard, we have an aeration basin and a collection or settling basin. The activated sludge from the settling basin is recycled back to the aeration tank. This is due to the carryover of the biomass from the aeration tank. When we have MBBR or moving bed bioreactor media, this carryover related issue is reduced significantly. Yes, there is a requirement of a settling tank in any case, but at the end of the day, the amount of sludge replenishment which is to be done in a conventional treatment does not, make sense to be done in the MBBR as well. When we are talking about an MBBR with the increased surface area available for the bacteria to grow on, we are talking about increase in the efficiency as well. So because of that, when we talk about an MBBR bioreactor, the efficiency given by the MBBR reactor is quite higher as compared to the conventional aeration tank. Disadvantages of the system: yes, the capex is a bit higher because of the media cost. If the design based on surface area is not done correctly, the design and the system may fail. Media quantity to surface area ratio is also not known. Now, this is a very crucial thing. When we talk about a media of, say, example 12 mm by 22 mm, each of these media blocks has a surface area of 0.04 meter square, 0.004 meter square. So, if you need a surface area of 400 meter square per cubic meter in your design, you need 1 lakh pieces of this media in your system per cubic meter. But when we talk from the cost economic perspective, people who are giving this media, they say we are giving 60,000 pieces, 50,000 pieces per cubic meter, and they give you a cost which is much more competitive as compared to the cost given by systematically designed and approved media suppliers. So that's why when we about media quantity to surface area ratio, it is very vital to understand what exactly is the surface area that you require and what is the surface area which is provided by the supply. This type of an MBBR system is normally suitable for all types of STPs, right? From micro to large scale plants. So I'll not be going into the details of it. When we are talking about aeration systems called as MBR, that is membrane bioreactors, we are talking about the utilization of simple ultrafiltration systems, submerged ultrafiltration systems for separation of solids and liquids. Now, again, there is a confusion which is going on in many of the designers regarding MBR. MBR is not an aeration system. It is just a solid liquid separation unit which is given in addition to the aeration tank in order to replace the collection tank, settling tank, tube settler, or similar mechanisms. So when you are designing a system, let's say that you have designed a system for an extended aeration process or an activated sludge process or an MBBR for that matter, the amount of volume which is required for an MBBR reactor will remain the same, but the MBR system will require an additional volume for installation. The MBR actually looks something like this. I'll show you the photograph of it. I don't know if I have it. Anyway, I don't have the photo of it. But as you can see in the photograph, in the first photograph, as you can see, the MBR tank is separate. तो यहाँ पे आप अगर देखेंगे तो MBR टैंक आप एरेशन टैंक से सेपरेट भी कर सकते हैं और उसके अंदर भी ले सकते हैं. पहले in the first you can say slide photograph, that is the upper photograph, the MBR system is installed in the aeration tank itself. In the second photograph, as you can see, the MBR tank is separated from the aeration tank. Now, the main you can say crux of this MBR system is that for an MBR system as well, you require aeration not only for the aeration zone but for the MBR zone as well. In the aeration zone, the aeration is required for increasing the dissolved oxygen content of the water, while in the MBR zone, the air is required for scoring. In short, we want to have the friction of different MBR strands on one another in order to separate the sticky solids from the MBR surface. Because if that remains stuck up on the MBR modules, the cleaning frequency increases. When we are talking about MBR systems, we are talking about the advantages which are reduced system footprint. Now, this is extremely advantageous for areas where you have a very low amount of area. MBR system for a 50 KLD tank may be probably having a surface footprint requirement of around 8 to 10 meters square. But for that, the settling tank and the final treated water tank are underground, which are in client scope. So footprint is as such reduced, but the amount of civil construction is increased. The water quality which is provided in the MBR system is actually of consistent quality because of the complete removal of suspended solids in a single stretch. But the disadvantage of an MBR system is that it has a significantly high amount of capex as compared to the conventional or the earlier discussed system, that is MBBR and SBR. It is to be understood that MBR modules do not have an impact on the BOD of the wastewater. Many a times, you get a photograph of beautifully crystal clear water, but the BOD of that water is very high. That is a case scenario because of a simple fact that aeration is not designed properly. Even though MBR is installed, the water is clear, but the designed reduction efficiency is not achieved. When we are talking about aeration tank requirement, that is with increased MLSS, always these systems are more inclined towards destabilization. MBR systems require a consistent periodic cleaning, not just by removing and cleaning, but we require chemical cleaning as well. But this type of an MBR system, if the client is willing to pay for it, can be utilized for all the systems right from micro level to large scale. Coming to the advanced oxidation process. Advanced oxidation process is a very less known technology in sewage treatment, because a large amount of people have already studied and researched this technology, but application of the technology in sewage treatment is still in its fetal stage. Advanced oxidation process utilizes the application of ozonation and ultraviolet system in a single go, wherein there is no biomass development, जहाँ पे बायोमास किसी भी तरह का डेवलपमेंट नहीं किया जाता, MLSS की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती, कल्चर डेवलपमेंट की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती. एक सिंगल टैंक में आपको ओजोनेशन और अल्ट्रावायलेट का अगर आप कॉम्बिनेशन सही तरीके से देते हैं तो द एंटायर ऑर्गेनिक मास इज रिड्यूस्ड अप टू 95% इन अ सिंगल स्ट्रेच. 95% एफिशिएंसी आपको मिल जाती है एक सिंगल स्ट्रेच में. तो एडवांस ऑक्सीडेशन प्रोसेस एक नई सिस्टम है जो इकोसेंस वाटरटेक लाया है एज एन अल्टरनेटिव टू all the available technologies. ऐसा कभी नहीं कहा जा सकता कि advanced oxidation process is always the best. It is a case scenario wherein we are trying to promote this technology as an alternative to all the available different technologies. This is the standard process flow diagram of an advanced oxidation process. We call it NanoXy. यहाँ पे अंडरग्राउंड कंपार्टमेंटलाइज कलेक्शन टैंक होता है. आप कोई भी सिस्टम ले लीजिए, MBR ले लीजिए, MBBR ले लीजिए, AOP ले लीजिए, SBR ले लीजिए. इफ वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट अ माइक्रो टू मिनी लेवल सिस्टम, आपको अंडरग्राउंड सेप्टिक टैंक जरूरी है. अंडरग्राउंड सेप्टिक टैंक में से ओवरग्राउंड टैंक में या फिर प्री फैब्रिकेटेड टैंक में पानी ले जाने के लिए लिफ्टिंग पंप्स दिए जाते हैं. ये किसी भी सिस्टम में आप अगर जाएंगे तो देयर इज ऑलवेज प्रोविजन ऑफ taking a septic tank or an underground collection tank as a proper equalization basin in absence of a septic tank. In advanced oxidation process, जहां पे पंपिंग होता है पानी रिएक्शन टैंक में, और एक दूसरी सिस्टम होती है जिसका नाम होता है नैनो बबल डिफ्यूजन. आई विल नॉट बी डिस्कसिंग दिस सिस्टम इन डिटेल एट दिस presentation because nano bubble diffusion system has a lot of literature online. The main crux of this system is that we use ozonation and UV in order to produce hydroxyl radicals which react directly with the organic biomass and cause reduction in the organic matter content. The organic matter which is mineralized is driven into the settling zone or the quiescent zone, जहाँ पे इस solids को settle किया जाता है और वहां से वो solids निकाले जाते हैं. The solids content of this waste water is very very low. तो आपको अगर वहां पे solids content होता भी है and if you remove it once in a you can say week or so, it's much more suitable, and that inorganic solid content can be directly diverted back to the underground compartmentalized collection tank. जो ट्रीट किया हुआ पानी है, it will go to the pre-filtered tank from which it will go to a multimedia filter and an activated carbon filter. Multimedia filter मेनली यूज किया जाता है सस्पेंडेड सॉलिड्स रिमूवल के लिए. जो भी प्रोबेबल सस्पेंडेड सॉलिड्स पानी में रह जाते हैं उनको रिमूव करने के लिए मल्टीमीडिया फिल्टर लगाया जाता है. एक्टिवेटेड कार्बन फिल्टर इज मेनली यूटिलाइज्ड फॉर कलर एंड ओडर रिमूवल, बट दैट टू ऑफ सस्पेंडेड फॉर्म. अगर कोई डिसॉल्व कलर होता है तो वो रिमूव करने की कैपेसिटी कार्बन फिल्टर में नहीं होती. उसके बाद ये पानी पूरी तरह से गार्डनिंग और फ्लोर वॉशिंग के लिए दिया जा सकता है. इसी ट्रीटमेंट सिस्टम का एक और कॉम्बिनेशन आता है जहां पे ये मल्टीमीडिया फिल्टर और एक्टिवेटेड कार्बन फिल्टर रिप्लेस हो जाता है विथ PVDF MBR मेम्ब्रेन बायोरिएक्टर, जिसके कारण अपना कॉस्ट थोड़ा बहुत बढ़ जाता है लेकिन अपने प्लांट की एफिशिएंसी भी उतनी ही रहती है. जब हम एडवांस ऑक्सीडेशन प्रोसेस के एडवांटेजेस देखते हैं तो इसकी फुटप्रिंट भी बहुत कम होती है. देयर इज नो रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ बायोमास मेंटेनेंस, नो रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ ब्लोअर्स, नो रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ मीडिया. The footprint of this plant for a 50 KLD process is hardly 12 meter square, यानी कि 3 मीटर बाय 4 मीटर के एरिया में आपका ये पूरा का पूरा प्लांट बैठ सकता है. The parameters which are achieved are consistent. Since we are talking about mineralization of organic matter, sludge is very very low, and after dewatering it can also be given to gardening. तो हमें ऐसा नहीं है कि वो जो ऑर्गेनिक इनऑर्गेनिक स्लज डेवलप होता है उसको डायरेक्टली अपने को सेप्टिक टैंक में ही देना है. वी कैन डायरेक्टली डिस्पोज इट टू द गार्डनिंग फैसिलिटी एज वेल. द डिसएडवांटेजेस आर दैट अगर हम इसमें MBR सिस्टम डालते हैं तो कैपेक्स इंक्रीज हो सकता है, और इसमें मैकेनिकल इक्विपमेंट ज्यादा होने की वजह से इट मे रिक्वायर मैकेनिकल मेंटेनेंस ऑन बायएनुअल बेसिस, यानी कि साल में एक बार या 2 बार इसका मेंटेनेंस करने की जरूरत पड़ सकती है. So when we are talking about the applicability, this system can be applied right from the micro scale to the large scale. Disinfection, there are a lot of options which are available, but ozonation as a standalone, ozonation with oxygen concentrator, chlorination system in the form of liquid dosing, and chlorine generator systems, which are normally used for large scale applications, these are the available disinfection options. अब आपको ये समझना है कि in this it is to be understood, please, if anybody tries to provide ultraviolet system as a disinfection unit for your sewage treatment scheme, please say no to it. Do not say yes to a UV system standalone for disinfection in sewage treatment. It does not have the proper effect. UV system is always suggestible for disinfection of water treatment plants or water treated by water treatment plants. Sewage treatment may the amount of pathogens which are present in the wastewater even after treatment is quite high. So please do not say yes to a ultraviolet system application in sewage treatment plant as a disinfection system. AOP में आपको एडिशनली डिसइंफेक्शन सिस्टम की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती, क्योंकि यहाँ पे हमने ओजोनेशन भी दिया हुआ है एंड एन एडिशनल एज एन एडेड यू कैन से सेफ्टी मार्जिन वी हैव आल्सो गिवन इन UV. The tertiary treatment as I had suggested earlier, multimedia filter, इसमें अवेलेबल मीडिया जो होता है वो क्वाड सैंड होता है, अल्ट्राफाइन जियोसॉर्ब, ये दिस इज अ जर्मन मीडिया विच वी नॉर्मली यूज. This gives you a treatment efficiency of removal of solids less than 20 micron. So it's a very good, you can say, addition to your multimedia filter. Recently, there is also a new media which is in the market in the form of a glass media. The application of this multimedia filter is normally for trace suspended matter. इसके लिए जो vessels use किए जाते हैं उनके material of construction MOC जो होते हैं, those are fiber reinforced plastic, that is FRP, MSCP which is mild steel with epoxy coating, MSFRP which is mild steel with fiber reinforced plastic coating, and MSRL which is mild steel with rubber lining. When we talk about carbon filter, the media which is utilized in this is activated carbon which has a higher iodine value of 600, 900 or 1000. There are many suppliers who give you iodine number of around 1100 and 1200, but I myself am not exactly sure about the authenticity of that number, because normally standard iodine number maximum is around 900. 1000 may be probable, but 1100 is to be questioned. The application of a carbon filter is normally for the removal of suspended color and odor, as I told earlier. और इसके लिए भी जो वेसल्स होती है उसके MOCs FRP, MSCP, MSFRP एंड MSRL हैं. लेकिन अगर आप MBR अडॉप्ट करते हैं, इफ यू आर अडॉप्टिंग एन मेम्ब्रेन बायोरिएक्टर, ये दोनों भी सिस्टम्स की जरूरत यहाँ पे नहीं पड़ती. देयर इज नो नीड ऑफ एनी टाइप ऑफ अ टर्शियरी ट्रीटमेंट इफ यू आर गोइंग फॉर एन MBR सिस्टम. एडवांस टर्शियरी में देयर आर 2 सिस्टम्स व्हिच आर अवेलेबल, अल्ट्राफिल्ट्रेशन एंड रिवर्स ऑस्मोसिस. अगर आप MBR अडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं तो अल्ट्राफिल्ट्रेशन की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती. MBR से ट्रीट किया हुआ पानी आप डायरेक्टली फ्लशिंग के लिए यूज कर सकते हैं. रिवर्स ऑस्मोसिस इज नॉर्मली यूटिलाइज्ड इन केस सिनेरियोज वेयर दिस वाटर इज टू बी यूज्ड फॉर पर्पसेस अदर देन ड्रिंकिंग. आई एम नॉट सेइंग ड्रिंकिंग राइट नाउ, बिकॉज एज आई हैव टोल्ड यू अर्लियर कि इंडियन सिनेरियो में ड्रिंकिंग के लिए सीवेज का पानी यूज करना अभी भी हमारे माइंडसेट में नहीं है. Yes, it is necessary, but at the end of the day, if the mindset does not permit it, it does not make sense to suggest it as well. So when we are talking about advanced tertiary treatment, ultrafiltration is utilized when MBR is not present. The use of this water is mainly for flushing. Any type of ultrafiltration, let it be MBR or normal ultrafiltration, bacterial removal of 99% and above is normally achieved. In reverse osmosis, all the trace contamination is removed and the water is suitable even for drinking. अभी मैंने ये सब तो बता दिया, but there is a major question which is yet to be answered, which I have not done up till now. Basically आप अगर देखेंगे तो हमें ये सब जानने की जरूरत इसीलिए है कि अब हमें सिलेक्ट करनी है सूटेबल टेक्नोलॉजी. लेकिन यहीं पे अपना सबसे बड़ा कंफ्यूजन हो जाता है, हाउ टू सिलेक्ट दिस टेक्नोलॉजी. तो दीज आर सम सजेशंस दैट आई कैन गिव फ्रॉम माय एंड. When we are talking about a domestic or apartment sewage treatment plant, the primary treatment should consist of a septic tank which should have a capacity of minimum 24 hours. यानी कि आपका अगर अपार्टमेंट का ट्रीटमेंट सीवेज ट्रीटमेंट आपको करना है तो then you have to select a primary treatment in the form of a septic tank which should be having 24 घंटे की जिसकी कैपेसिटी होनी चाहिए. यानी कि अगर आपके अपार्टमेंट कॉम्प्लेक्स में 250 लोग रहते हैं, आपका टोटल जनरेशन ऑफ वेस्ट वाटर 25,000 लीटर है, सेफ्टी मार्जिन के साथ 29,000 लीटर्स का आपका अगर जनरेशन है, तो आपका सेप्टिक टैंक कम से कम 30,000 लीटर कैपेसिटी का होना बेहद जरूरी है. उसका डिजाइन 2 कंपार्टमेंट स्टेज में हो सकता है या फिर 3 कंपार्टमेंट स्टेज में भी हो सकता है. इन द सेकेंड फेज आप एओपी के लिए जा सकते हैं, एडवांस्ड ऑक्सीडेशन प्रोसेस, एमबीआर यानी मेम्ब्रेन बायोरिएक्टर के लिए जा सकते हैं और मूविंग बेड बायोरिएक्टर के लिए भी जा सकते हैं. फाइनली टर्शियरी ट्रीटमेंट सिस्टम्स में इफ यू आर गोइंग फॉर कॉस्ट इकोनॉमिक मॉडल, यू कैन गो फॉर एमएमएफ, इज मल्टीमीडिया फिल्टर, एक्टिवेटेड कार्बन फिल्टर. इसमें और एक ऑप्शन होता है ड्यूअल मीडिया फिल्टर का, जो भी आप ले सकते हैं, जिसमें एमएमएफ पीसीएफ का भी ट्रीटमेंट स्कीम है, उसको कंबाइन किया जाता है. एंड फाइनली यू कैन इवन गो फॉर एन एमबीआर. जैसा मैंने नोट में लिखा हुआ है कि अगर आप डिसइंफेक्शन के बारे में सोचेंगे तो ओजोनेशन ही आपको रेकमेंड मैं कर सकता हूँ. स्मॉल स्केल प्लांट्स में ओजोनेशन अब तक यूज नहीं किया गया था बिकॉज ऑफ द कॉस्ट इकोनॉमिक्स ऑफ इट. लेकिन आज ozonation is available in the market at very competitive rates, because of which it can be used as a proper replacement for chlorination. इसका सबसे recent मैं example ये दे सकता हूँ कि chlorination is being used even in the disinfection chambers for coronavirus. लेकिन यहाँ पे भी लोग dosage की बात को समझ नहीं पाते, and because of which the amount of chlorine which is added to the disinfection liquid which is going to be sprayed on people, it's so high that it is causing a huge amount of skin irritation. So even in this kinds of circumstances, the dosage of chlorine is always neglected. और अगर ये बात ऐसे छोटे छोटे मामलों में अगर होती है तो यू कैन इमेजिन कि सीवेज ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट में अगर डोसेज अगर वेरी हो जाता है तो उसका रिपरकशन कितना डेंजरस हो सकता है. इफ यू आर गोइंग फॉर एन एओपी सिस्टम, आपको अलग से डिसइंफेक्शन देने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, बिकॉज the AOP system already has ozonation in the form of a reaction equipment. जब आप डिजाइन कर रहे हैं होटल या हॉस्टल के लिए विथ कैंटीन, प्राइमरी ट्रीटमेंट शुड कंसिस्ट ऑफ स्क्रीनिंग, जिसमें आप बार स्क्रीन लगा सकते हैं या फिर मैकेनाइज स्क्रीन लगा सकते हैं. ऑयल सेपरेशन सिस्टम इज ऑल्सो नेसेसरी, बिकॉज when we are talking about waste water from hotel or hostel with canteen, oil content can be significantly high. After both of these systems, you need to have a septic tank of 24 hours capacity. In the second level, you have to have an anaerobic filter, which is optional. It is recommended if the flow is above 200 KLD. अगर 200 KLD से ज्यादा फ्लो है तो anaerobic filter always recommend किया जाता है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे फ्लो में भी वेरिएशंस बहुत सारे हो सकते हैं और कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स में भी वेरिएशंस बहुत सारे हो सकते हैं। तो इस मामले में अगर हम एओपी के लिए नहीं जा रहे, एडवांस ऑक्सीडेशन प्रोसेस के लिए नहीं जा रहे, तो एनारोबिक फिल्टर एक रिकमेंडेड यूनिट रहेगा, बिकॉज ऐसे सिचुएशंस में शॉक लोडिंग कैपेसिटी होना बेहद जरूरी होता है। इन द थर्ड फेज यू कैन गो फॉर एन एओपी, membrane bioreactor और डायरेक्ट टर्शियरी फिल्ट्रेशन सिस्टम इन केस यू आर गोइंग फॉर एन एओपी। नेक्स्ट, अगर आप एमबीआर अडॉप्ट नहीं करते हैं तो अल्ट्रा फिल्ट्रेशन को यूज करके आप ये पानी फ्लशिंग के लिए भी सुटेबल कर सकते हैं। अगेन यहाँ पे ओजोनेशन इन द फॉर्म ऑफ डिसइंफेक्शन रेकमेंडेड है। इन द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में जा रहा हूँ। या व्हेन वी गो फॉर अ हॉस्पिटल ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट, हॉस्पिटल ट्रीटमेंट में सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है कि हमारे पानी में जो कंटेंट होती है वो ठीक तरह से समझी जाए। सी, हॉस्पिटल में सबसे ज्यादा वेस्ट वाटर में आने की संभावना होती है वो पैथोजेनिक कंपोनेंट्स की भी होती है। हॉस्पिटल्स में जो पेशेंट्स होते हैं, व्हेन दे यूज अ टॉयलेट और अ बेसिन, it is always a probability that certain amount of pus, blood or any other antibiotic which is being disposed of may be accidentally or deliberately be disposed of in the sewage line. So in this kind of a scenario, having a properly designed septic tank of 24 hours capacity is always crucial. In the second phase, you can go for an AOP system or an MBR system. In the third phase, we can go for an MBR system और tertiary filtration. MBR यहाँ पे दो जगह आ रहा है, बिकॉज अगर आप AOP सिस्टम लेते हैं तो इन द थर्ड फेज आप MBR सॉलिड लिक्विड सेपरेशन के लिए ले सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर कॉस्ट इकोनॉमिक्स परमिट नहीं करता है तो आप टर्शियरी फिल्ट्रेशन इन द फॉर्म ऑफ मल्टीमीडिया फिल्टर एंड एक्टिवेटेड कार्बन फिल्टर सिलेक्ट कर सकते हैं। सेप्टेज मैनेजमेंट में दिस इज अ वेरी, यू कैन से, debatable issue, but septage management normally has these processes. I will not be going into the details of it. In septage management, normally the septage is collected and the inorganics are separated. The sludge is aerated and thickened. उसकी वॉल्यूम को कम किया जाता है, स्लज की वॉल्यूम को कम किया जाता है, सॉलिड्स की कंटेंट को बढ़ाया जाता है, स्लज का डाइजेशन किया जाता है जिसमें से गैस में बी रीयूटिलाइज्ड। स्लज डीवाटरिंग में स्लज में से जो भी मॉइस्चर कंटेंट है वो निकाल के अप्रोक्सीमेटली 15 to 20% तक लाया जाता है। उसके बाद उसको ड्राई किया जाता है या फिर उसको जलाया जाता है, एंड इट मे आल्सो बी अप्लाइड इन कंपोस्ट। Now these are some installations of different types. The first treatment plant that you can see, this is a prefabricated STP of 50 KLD which is installed at Ashoka Iron Works, Belgaum. Now this is a prefabricated overground STP. Now there is a question which is coming in about a single tank plant or on terrace. Now as you can see, this is a system which is installed in Bridge and Roof Company at Kerala, Vizhinjam. This is a completely Syntex tank based system. So if we are planning to install a system on the terrace, the only thing which is required from the client is an underground collection tank at the bottom of the apartment or in the basement, wherein the sewage water is collected. From there, it is lifted by using a level sensor based mechanism to the terrace, wherein it is treated on the terrace, and the treated water is again diverted back to the gardening or you can say sewer disposal application. The third plant which is given is a kind of a prefabricated system in HDPE. This system is installed in National Institute of Technology, Karnataka in Surathkal, and this system was installed for a hostel with a canteen. Now, this is a very, you can say, effective system which has already been approved by NITK, and it has been evaluated and the certification has been provided by the institute. Yes, Mithil ji has asked a question that constructed wetland can be an option. Yes, constructed wetland can be an option, definitely can be an option. But the main problem which is coming in by the constructed wetland is that normally for this type of a system, the amount of area required is very high. And utilizing this for small hospitals or hotels or apartment applications, wherein we are taking an area of, in meter squares, which is actually not available with the hospital, but they are trying to adjust their design to make room for our STP, having a constructed wetland can be difficult. These are some again the installation of the STP, that is advanced oxidation process, was recently done at 2 locations in Ratnagiri. The first location is Chirayu Hospital, which is a 50-bedded hospital. The system's capacity is 12.5 KLD. The second is Swastik Hospital, which is having a capacity of 25 bed, approximately 6.25 KLD capacity. And you can see the output of one of the systems that we have. So as you can see, it is always essential that we have proper systems which are in place. And when we talk about designing, we can come to certain conclusions based on this type of a info. Before going to the conclusions, I can definitely say that when we are talking about designing of a system, what I have tried to present to you may seem like a very basic type of a presentation, but when we design a system for small scale clients, right, from the micro clients to the small scale clients, right, I am talking about 5 KLD to 500 KLD. It is to be understood that these people are the people who are in the most problem. उन्हें सही एडवाइजरी नहीं मिलती, उन्हें सही तरीके का इंस्टॉलेशन नहीं मिलता, सही तरीके का ऑपरेशन उन्हें करने को आ नहीं सकता. Because of this, many of the treatment systems which are designed and installed in this capacity range of 5 KLD to 500 KLD, many times, rather most of the times, these systems fail not because of the designing you can say issues, but right from inception to installation issues. बहुत सारे शॉर्टकट्स मारे जाते हैं. जब क्लाइंट का बजट कम होता है तो ऑर्डर पाने के लिए बहुत जगह पे शॉर्टकट्स मार के वो सिस्टम बिठाई तो जाती है, बट सिस्टम काम नहीं कर पाती. तो क्लाइंट पैसे तो डालता है, उसे भी मालूम होता है कि ये सिस्टम सिर्फ दिखाने लायक ही होती है, बट at the end of the day, the credibility of the supplier is affected. So when we conclude, though the point number is 3, always do not compromise on the end result. ये जरूरी बात है ध्यान में रखने की. So when we talk about conclusion, the first conclusion is that आप जब डिजाइन करते हैं सिस्टम, तो प्रोसेस वॉल्यूम, फ्लो, एंड यूज और उसका जो भी बेसलाइन डिजाइनिंग है वो आपके सामने क्लियरली डिफाइंड होना बहुत जरूरी होता है. सेप्टेज मैनेजमेंट यानी फीकल स्लेज मैनेजमेंट 500 KLD तक थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट होता है. इसीलिए when you are designing a system for units which are less than 500 KLD, make sure that you take the cost of removal of fecal sludge from the septic tank twice in a year in your OPEX as well, and convey that to the client very clearly that this cost is going to be in addition to the cost of running of the plant. Because if that is not conveyed, the client will ignore this fact and the tanks will remain unclean for 2 to 3 years and 4 years, and you will start getting the implications of this unclean tanks in your treatment systems as well, wherein the BOD and COD values start increasing significantly because of the inherent BOD which is generated by the digested inorganic matter. PCB norms are now being monitored very, very stringently in many places. Obviously, there are many rare case scenarios which are happening, but at the end of the day, PCB norms are being monitored. So bypass या cost economic systems देना designers को टालना चाहिए. And as far as the clients go, we would always suggest that you should not take up a cost economic system, but take a techno commercially viable system, wherein the end results are also achieved and the cost is also competitive, not very high, not very low. Fundamentally, जब डिजाइन करना होता है, तो when we are talking about the designing of the system needs to be designed by people who are experienced rather than कोई भी or this is a case scenario many a times, this wherein one of the contractors, let's say, takes a system of STP from you, designed by you, but then copying the same, he can give the system to somebody else, but he doesn't know what the source is, what the parameters are. And in such points, the system fails. But at the end of the day, the credibility of the contractor also goes down. And at the end of the day, the credibility of the person who supplied the first plant also may be in jeopardy. When we are talking about mechanical equipment is always there to assist the smooth running of the system. This is not going to be the core of the system. The core of the system is the design that you have made. मैकेनिकल इक्विपमेंट आप ब्लोअर की जगह कंप्रेसर लगा देंगे तो भी उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आता, बट उसमें आपको सही तरीके की एयर मिल रही है या नहीं, सही तरीके का ऑक्सीजनेशन मिल रहा है नहीं, वो ज्यादा जरूरी होता है. आप नॉन क्लॉक पंप की जगह अगर आप मोनोब्लॉक पंप लगा देते हैं, देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम वेर इन द मोनोब्लॉक पंप में कॉज choking of the entire system. So that's why proper designing of the system and proper the selection of the mechanical equipment is also essential. Finally, when we are talking about a project, always concentrate on lower OPEX, that is operational expenditure, rather than concentrating on the CAPEX. Because CAPEX, yes, this is a one-time expenditure, लेकिन OPEX जितना आपका ज़्यादा होगा, उतना उस प्लांट का रनिंग करने की तैयारी क्लाइंट की कम होती जाएगी. He will be reluctant to run the plant because not because the plant is bad, but because the operating expenditure is very, very high. So that is something that we have to take care of. These are our contact details. I have one or two questions which I would like to answer. Anoxic tank compulsory for MBR or MBBR for removal of nitrogen. Yes, it is advised that anoxic tank is to be given. बिकॉज अमोनिकल नाइट्रोजन में डीनाइट्रिफिकेशन का जो रिएक्शन होता है वो एनॉक्सिक टैंक में ही होता है. सेप्टिक टैंक में भी एनारोबिक रिएक्शन होती है, बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे दैट रिएक्शन इज नॉट एज इफेक्टिव एज अ प्रॉपरली डिजाइंड एनॉक्सिक टैंक. सो व्हेन यू आर लुकिंग एट द टारगेटेड रिमूवल ऑफ नाइट्रोजन और अमोनिकल नाइट्रोजन इन MBR और MBBR, it is always advised that you take a normal anoxic tank in place and design the system. सेकेंडली MBBR टैंक का स्टार्टअप टाइम हार्डली 10 से 12 दिन का होता है. एक्टिवेटेड स्लज प्रोसेस किसी भी हाल में आपको 10 से 12 दिन से पहले होता नहीं है, बट एनी ऑफ द एरोबिक प्रोसेसेस कैन बी स्टेबलाइज्ड विद इन 10 to 12 days. So that's not an issue at all. So with this I hand it over to Tejas and see if there are any questions in this project.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. As Sagar sir answered all the questions, so I would like to vote for thanks. Should I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's my great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of IPA Kolhapur chapter. Let me start with our speaker, Mr. Sagar sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words and guidance. This deep knowledge you shared in today's webinar about sewage treatment and techniques will definitely help us to give better service to our nation. I would like to also thank our chairman of Kolhapur chapter, Mr. Kiran Joshi sir, and all core committee members for arranging this webinar for us. I would also like to thank all the IPA members and all of you to attend the webinar and for your valuable time. Thank you so much everyone for your valuable time. If you have any question, you can mail to Sagar sir. He can guide with this.
Tejas, can you also give the mail ID of the Kolhapur chapter so that the questions can be addressed to them as well?
Yeah, sure. Just a minute. I'll copy.
Sagar, I will send you the. I will mail you my address.
All right, sir. Done. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.